happy midweek, mid-August. How is it August 14th? Question for the crowd. How does that happen? Too fast. It's just too damn fast. I have an interesting episode for y'all today. I'm not going to lie. I had a gorgeous episode lined up for you, about an hour 15, with a stunning individual that really dove deep into their past and offered an array of insights and advice. And I was just so giddy about it. And as the universe works, I went to go upload it and shaboom, episode's gone. Yep, that's the reality of it. A great conversation between me and this individual. However, I will be rebooking, rescheduling that. And in replacement, lucky you, you get a little Ask Me Anything. You got to stay lightning fast, creative on those toes, gang. So you can definitely skip through this episode now at this point if you are even still listening. I think I'm on episode 24. May I be so bold as to keep recording and sharing these. Anyways, I sent out a little question to the universe asking for people to submit some questions so that I had something, good Lord, something to talk about for the next 45. Probably going to be a 30-minuter. Anyways, my friends, I actually had some great responses, and I'm super stoked about this. So I'm going to just fire them off here. First one that I received kind of had me chuckling because I couldn't really come up with anyone. But question is, if you could interview or chat with anyone I wanted to tomorrow, or anyone that you wanted to tomorrow, I truly couldn't. I just couldn't come up with anyone. I couldn't come up with anyone. I always, growing up, Jim Carrey. It was always Jim Carrey. But as I'm like a mid-20s female reflecting on somebody that would have been a mid-20s female in the 20s, or in the even like, yeah, even in the like early 1900s, mid-20s female, I think. I just want to know where they would be at in their lives versus where I'm at now. But I don't even think the question said that I was allowed to go back in time. So if it's a current individual, shoot, hey, gosh, damn it. Ooh, my friends. I don't know. I'm going to have to come back to it. Okay? And let me come back. Favorite candy? Well, when I was younger, it was definitely those strawberry marshmallows. But I feel like now it's just any hard candy. Boring. Favorite moment as a dancer? I love this one. Oh, I love it. Favorite moment as a dancer would probably be when I feel like when I got my first professional gig, which was my first contract on a cruise ship, but definitely representing Canada in Austria. And I think specifically the battle round, I touched on this on one of my first episodes, but I was selected to battle, like stomp the yard, step up style. You're picturing it. I know you are. That was Briggs on the battlefield as a soloist, but also as a duo. And I think that was like such an out of body experience for me because it truly felt like there was cameras all around and I was filming a movie. It was ridiculous. But yeah, those are a couple. Favorite moments are so hard. I can't narrow down. I should try and do that though. My next question, these ones start to get a little lengthy. Thank you to those of you that you know who you are asking these lengthy questions. How would you describe your time in school? Oh my God. What part of school? Because when I was growing up, that was a tough round of years. Not in a dramatic sense, but I grew up in a French immersion school in Stony Plain, Alberta. And if you are quirky in any way, good luck. Good luck, buddy. And I had some quirks that I obviously still do. That's why you are listening to me today. It was tough, but I wouldn't have given anything up for that because it definitely made me stronger. I also always had my eye out for people that had quirks as well because wanted to just frickin' stick up for them until it was a fault for me. Yeah, and being in a French immersion school, the relationships get tighter knit because there's fewer people that put their children in French immersion school, so you kind of grow up with the same individuals. But yeah, it definitely caused me some tougher days trying to stick up for myself, but also stick up for others. And when I say others, there's one individual in mind that had it hard. And so I guess moral of the answer is if you're in elementary, junior high, there's some nasty things going on there. It's a tough world. And in fact, I actually think you have to have tougher skin then than any part of your life. So listen, stay true to yourself without being cheesy. Frickin' stay true to yourself, and your older self will thank you. And then keep your eye out for those that might not have the strength to stick up for them. And yeah, that's where I'm going to leave that. How did you find the time and space to start a fashion company focused on reducing landfill waste while employing people from the farthest regions of the planet? Bless you, listener, for this question. I didn't find the time. You don't find the time. The time's there. There's time, and then there's you, and you decide. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. I don't have the time. Oh my God, you have the time. You have the same amount of time that I have time. I have 24 hours. Do you have 22 hours? No, you don't. Nope. No, you have 24 hours. And in fact, even that is just a concept. That's just a concept based on farmers, which I'm tipping my hat off to. World revolves around that. But I will say, time is just a thing that we have come up with. And the number we've come up with is 24 hours. I get that. You get that. I just decided to spend more time. I shake my head when I say that because maybe I spent too much time, wink, wink, to Devin, starting something that I thought would be everlasting and have a greater impact. And parents, if you're listening, love you to bits, but how and why did you plant that seed in me? I don't know. That's where I found the time. I just sat my arse down and went, what means the most to me right now? Where am I going to put my eggs? Because I have so many of them. And where can I put my eggs? I don't want to put them all into one basket, i.e. just dance. I had more of an itch to scratch than that. So I did a little self-assessment, little analysis on sort of 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 25 years ahead, and wanted to make sure that I was putting my eggs into a basket that my future self would be proud of. And we'll see. We've yet to uncover if I will, but right now, right now, I guess you could say I am. How do you prioritize your day? Oh, good Lord. Good Lord. I wake up at 4, and that's been happening for 5 years now. Get up, drink some water, make the lunches for Dev, for myself. And this is like the last year, I'm being specific here. Do some breath work. Always do some breath work. I'm not talking 25 hours of breath work, people. No way, Jose. I'm talking 5 minutes. 5 minutes, inhales, exhales, a little deeper than any other time of your day. Get a little rooted. Calm the shit. You know what I mean? I'm sorry to younger listeners, but that's just necessary sometimes. I read right now, what I'm reading is a Tools of Titans, which is a really digestible book by Tim Ferriss. I usually just read a couple pages of that and then I hit the journal, hit the empty pages. Take the little Bubba, the little Theodore, the little King Charles for a walk and yeah, go off to the gym. If I'm not teaching that day, I go off to the gym probably for an hour and then unlock the shop, my last Shot Apparel facility in St. Albert, Alberta. Set up the shop, do all the little ditties here. And then if I have to teach around 10:30 on Wednesdays, actually, I go teach, come back to the shop or run around the city or answer any Zoom meetings at coffee shops. Come back to the shop, then go teach my second class if I have one. In the middle there, I'll have to let Theo out and again answer some more calls, answer some more employee messages. Keeps me on my toes. And then my day usually winds down. I get back home maybe around 5. It really depends if I teach, if I'm teaching in any yoga or fitness classes. Make dinner and just start to wind the frick down. Play with the dog. Chill out with Dev. Go for walks, go for bike rides, whatever it is. Turn on a little flick. Lately, we've been really obsessed with sports documentaries. So I'll have a little family movie night, about 30 minutes just to wind down. Sports docs that we were watching, actually, it's called Sprint. Super frickin' good. We were also watching Receiver. I'm obsessed. I was obsessed with QB1, loved Receiver. Yeah, that's how the day goes. Favorite vegetable growing up was a carrot, and I used to always be told my nose was turning orange. And I'm gonna stay true to it. I feel like a carrot is just an easy frickin' grab and go. Grab and go, little fiber, little carbohydrate, boom. Finish this sentence. If you could choose between living a life that's safe but has endless guarantees, or living a life full of risk and zero guarantees, it is option 2. All risk, zero guarantees here. Next question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Honest to God, I do not see myself slowing down. I think a lot of people want me to slow down. Thank you to the ones that love and care for my health, but truly, if I slow down, I actually think that's a red flag more than anything else. Where do I see myself in 5 years? I'd love to have a huge open field. May I be so bold to say a horse, a couple dogs, a garden, and a home that is similar to the way a farmhouse is built. I'm a huge fan of open spaces. So barn dominiums to me catch my eye, and I know they do Devin, my partner. I picture myself on that property with the family. As cheesy as that sounds. And then everything else just is going to fall into places how they fall into places. Where do you see your business in 5 years? Oh, that's growing. That's skyrocketing. Yeah. We are incorporating a lot of new things into Last Shot Apparel, and I am so frickin' stoked for what's to come. 5 years from now, whew, we're getting into, I mean, without sharing too much, generating natural fibers local to Alberta instead of having to source those overseas, specifically hemp fiber, because right now all we use is 100% cotton or dead stock. But I'd like to transition to hemp fiber, which is a fiber that would be ideal for Alberta's climate. Something that I know will grow in the future a lot more here. And I want to be, Last Shot will be one of the first to really start to incorporate that into textiles. That's one component. The other component is really closing the loop of our manufacturing. So from thread to the fabric we use to the way that we discard our fabrics, everything is closed loop, which means we return it back into new products or filler products for another industry, whatever that may be. And then growing another branch of the company that I actually can't share right now, but I'm super stoked about it because it's come up in the last couple months as an opportunity that I didn't consider a year ago, but it is definitely a route we are going to take soon. So stay tuned for that. I love that question. Thank you. And then, of course, first and foremost, above and beyond any decision I've ever made with this company is the team behind it. So just making sure that the employees that have been with me since the start grow and scale with it, and are always happy with the work that they're doing. Coming in with a smiling face and leaving with a smiling face is my number one goal. And so far, so good. Do you have any inspiring, influential companies that you follow? There's a company called Apparel, Upparel, I believe, and they are doing some absolutely incredible work with fiber recycling, especially in the promotional merchandise industry, finding ways to mechanically shred and then repurpose it back into a new fiber and new products. That to me is so innovative. That's where I just freaking soar, is seeing other companies and other individuals start to come up with these innovative ideas that don't exist already. That is just so unique to me, to see a company take the risk of being innovative, something that they don't know if it's going to work or not, and then launching it and seeing some success on the other end. So apparel is definitely one of them. Another one that's always been top of mind for me is Patagonia. The founder of that is a straight up wholesome guy. I don't want to get too into it, but they have some great mission, vision, and values lined up there and have since the start. And he's a stand-up guy. Yeah, those are definitely a few. And then another one that this listener, thank you so much, asked. Just give a bold prediction about the future of fashion industry for the next 1 to 5 years. Man, simply put, I truly wholeheartedly believe there's going to be a transition back to North American garment manufacturing. And I'm not saying it's going to go back to the 98% that it used to be in the 60s, but the fact that 96% of garments were manufactured in North America and now that number is only 2%, a lot of that was because of tariffs, restructuring, and global politics. Technology and innovation overseas. I'm very aware of all that. But I do think with the migration of refugees and incredible human beings from countries overseas due to unrest, civil unrest. The migration that we are seeing now in North America with this skill set is ridiculous. And I started this company mind boggled because I knew that we had the talent here locally, and I'm not just talking about Edmonton, Alberta, but locally in North America. We had the talent of individuals that have had over 20 plus years of experience in garment manufacturing, and we were retraining them into jobs that they will not use any of those skills. None of their expertise will be used. And that didn't make sense to me. We have this plethora, this pool of individuals with rich, rich skills, and we're not using them for what they are absolutely gifted at. Doesn't make sense to me. So may I be so bold to say Shot Apparel is trying to change that by introducing a new sector to this local economy, but I do believe that we can grow it. Out east in Canada, there's a garment manufacturing industry, micro to small, but there's one there. Vancouver, there's small boutique garment shops. Edmonton, hey, we're on the map too. But anyways, to answer that question, I think the numbers are gonna switch. Not completely, and it's not gonna go back to 98%. But I do believe in a world where in 1 to 5 years, you'll see a huge switch of garment manufacturing back into North America. I am being so hopeful there. I really am, but I can see it. Given your background as a dancer, how has your experience in dance influenced the way you approach entrepreneurship, particularly in overcoming challenges that would likely be inspiring to others? Oh man, you have to drop any walls that you've had up. You have to drop any ego. You have to seek out opportunities. That's a big one, seeking out opportunities. Being a dancer, you are a contracted worker. Love that we all are artists and creatives, and I'm in for it with you on that. But at the end of the day, your business operating as a contractor. And I started to realize that later on in my career as a dancer. And the tools are completely transferable if you start up your own company outside of dance. Well, use the frickin' tools you just learned as a dancer, growing the thick skin, networking, creating new opportunities that don't already exist, and being light on your toes, literally and figuratively, ready to shape shift, and pivot. And for God's sake, be kind when you do it. Because if you tick off the wrong individual in the dance industry, good luck. Good luck. You grow a name for yourself. People start to see true colors. And it's not good. That's a long path that you don't want to go down. So I think to wrap it all up, create opportunities for yourself that you want in your future. Create the opportunities if you can. And then be kind, be optimistic, be open, be communicable, be clear in the way you communicate. Hold your head up high. These are all so many things that I just completely transferred into growing Shot Apparel. I don't know if that answered or just added more of blurriness, but there we are. There's my answer. Another question, couple questions actually. How have your goals for yourself and your business evolved over the years? Okay, so when I was younger, and when I say younger, I mean like 19, 20, I had these huge dreams of almost, I guess you would say like an inventor coming up with new technologies. I wanted to come up with something that has never existed and would be groundbreaking. Like it was just such a lofty goal of mine. And more so in the science world, especially with fiber and textiles, I wanted to develop a technology that hasn't existed. But as I dove into it, it actually left me so optimistic for our future of our planet and people, because anything that and I dove deep into trying to come up with new technologies um, to garnish the sustainable, eco-friendly way that textiles are made and garments are made. Um, People are so creative, and these technologies have pretty much all existed. There's no capital behind them to really see them grow. But the machines that I've uncovered, the workflow processes, the books, the courses, the everything that I thought, oh, this is the one. This is where it's at, baby. I just came up with groundbreaking technology. Well, I didn't. People are already doing it. And I had to understand that that's okay, that's good, and that what I can come up with is a social innovation. And in fact, to be more specific, when I was applying for loans, which good luck, girlfriend, if you are a young 20s applying for a loan with under 2 years of your business incorporated, yeah. I mean, there's ways, but actually, is there a way? Is there a way? Not sure. Well, as I was going down and doing all the steps in order to apply, I started to work with Innovations Canada, and they made it very clear that what I was doing was very socially innovative. And that's the terms that they would use. And so, yes, my brain wanted to be, more of a, maybe what would it be, some sort of bio or chemistry based technology. I don't know, but definitely I've come to realize that my goal has switched from being a biochem based technology innovator to a social innovator. And I'm passionate about that because I love to see the change that this company has made in the lives of others and our planet. Do you feel like you've stayed on course with the business plan you initially laid out for yourself, or do you feel like it has shifted since you first began? If you haven't shifted since you first made your business plan, I don't want to say that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but I do believe that a business plan is built to change because your surroundings change, your company grows, and you have to grow with your company. The amount of staff that I have now versus where I started has changed. They used to be contractors, now they're full-time employees. We never used to operate out of physical location. I used to be driving around the city, dropping off fabric, picking the garments back up, and then shipping them at the local post office. My business has changed. And if your business plan doesn't change from from the day you started, then I think that's a concern. Maybe, and maybe that's a controversial statement, but it's one I stand behind. What other goals and dreams would you like to achieve in the near future? That's a really good question. God, as it sounds cheesy, I love this podcast. I love the easily accessible information that it's giving to young entrepreneurs and artists pursuing anything that's out of the ordinary, that's pursuing anything above average. No, I really do want to see where this podcast takes me, and I'm looking forward optimistically into the future with opportunities that will arise for more of a directorial, choreography, leadership role in entertainment, not just dance, but entertainment. I really am in love with the entertainment industry. I think it brings such light, love, and excitement to our world, especially in a world that needs it. So that's on that side of things. But with Last Shot Apparel, I'm so motivated, like a fire under my ass, to just do whatever's best for this company. And I've transitioned from looking at the company as me, myself, and I to it's a company and there's employees underneath it. And I am just the figurehead that's at the top running it, but it's not mine. It is the ownership of those that work for it, and whatever is best for them is best for the company. And that is a outlook that I never anticipated having at this early stage, but it's an outlook that's important if you do grow a company. And of course, if it ever goes public, then you are responsible for the health of investment from shareholders and the health of the careers of those that work for the company. So again, don't know if that answered the question at all, but that's just where my head's at. All right, a last few questions. My gosh, these are good. What was it like being the youngest of four siblings? I loved it. Siblings hated it. Having me as your sibling, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Johnny, Jordan, and Bud. I was a troublemaker, an absolute drama queen, loved to stir the pot, loved to make ruckus and then blame it on others. Like the definition of somebody that gives you a hard time but keeps it exciting, to give myself a little cred. It was also just a pure motivator. Like anything that the siblings did, I wanted to do but better. Like end of story, period. So yeah, that's what it was like. What's the one of your fondest memories from childhood? Every summer I used to go to Sandpoint, Idaho, and it would be a week out of our summer where the family was all together, and not just the immediate family, but the family reunions. So mom had eight kids. Mom had eight siblings. Um, and grandma and grandpa had a home on Lake Ponderay. And it is the most beautiful lake on the planet, hands down, period, end of story. And we would gather like a group of 50, 40 of us on the beach for 10, 8 days every summer. And there was barely any Wi-Fi or cell service. We'd play tennis. We would go pick huckleberries. We would go to the local July 4th parade. It was just such a sort of pause in time for not just the kids, but also for the parents, for the adults, and at a super important week out of everyone's year to just reconnect and disconnect. And looking at it now as a mid 20-year-old, I cannot recommend that enough for families. Really does. There wasn't one person, I don't think, that walked away from that week regretting any time they took away from work, or shifting of the schedule around to make it happen, or capital investment, whatever it is. We always made it work, and we always went back because we knew how important that week was, that 10 days was for the rest of our year. So that entire experience, I think, was probably the fondest memory of mine growing up. Next question is, if you could have dinner with one person other than family and friends, who would it be and why? I really, I really would like to, language barrier aside, sit down with, and I'm trying to find the words because I don't want them to escape me. I feel like I'm so passionate about nature, the outdoors, healthy lifestyles. One thing that's always captured my eye are mountaineers and Sherpas. Um, And I genuinely feel like I would like to sit down with a Sherpa, maybe post career, because I know that they have dedication, motivation, perseverance, and of course, a hell of a stack of survival stories, um, from when they were young, starting off, to when they retired, and if they even retired. Yeah, I think it would just be with a Sherpa. I would absolutely love that. What's one piece of advice you would offer your 12-year-old self? Oh God, I I feel bad for my 12-year-old self. I don't feel bad, but she went through a tough time. Um, ooh, I should say she went through a tough time just because of, like I said at the start of the episode, I had so many bold fashion choices, hair choices, personality choices, and it was so explorative and creative for me, but it wasn't accepted well by others, my age at least. So 12-year-old self, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. I would definitely say be a little kinder. Uh, and I think I say be a little kinder because you have to be extra kind when you're that age. You do, because there's so many bratty, um, no, I want to say manipulative because I don't think they're manipulative or know that they are, but bullies at that age in your life. And I don't think that they realize it, the depth of the comments and the yeah, just bullying in general. I think it's a reflective of the internal, and obviously it is, but at that age, there's a lot of rudeness that can go around friend groups. And if I could say anything, keep holding your chin high, girlfriend, and kill him with kindness. Kill him with kindness. Trust in yourself. Yeah, that's a few. That's a few for you. Um, this one I love. At last shot, on the days that are good, what do you think about? I think about I not to go back, but like when I'm in the shop, when I'm actually working at the shop at my desk or printing and pressing or working on new designs, whatever it is, or cleaning, or doing payroll, wearing all the hats, I look over to the seamstresses and designers, and they all speak Ukrainian, but they are laughing their butts off. They're smiling, they're communicating, they're talking about back home, they're talking about food, they're talking about their grandkids. And you could take anything away from me. Hell, I could be in debt under my frickin' ears. I could have given up years of my life. It doesn't matter. But the days that are good, I look over to them. And when they're smiling and having a good time, it's a euphoric moment that I can't explain. On the days that are not so good, what keeps you going? I guess I answered it sort of there. It's that, but it's also reflecting on me as a 17-year-old making clothes for myself, learning from my mom how she sewed when she was mid 20s, selling clothing at markets to make money. I think of the amount of times I've moved my sewing machines with me from different provinces and cities, setting it up in a closet in Vancouver so I could sew and host a booth at a market and sell there. I think about all of the truckloads of boxes of clothing that I sold getting dropped off to customers where I was driving around the city. I think about the fashion shows that I was a part of. I think about all of the smaller things that led up to these moments, and I know I'll do the same thing in 10 years from now. The growth is what keeps me going. the actual visual growth that I can see where we started, the timeline to where we are now. And then obviously the potential. I see the potential, and it's just a matter of commitment. And I think that's the most important thing for anyone that's pursuing something. I truly think the difference between somebody that started something and in quotes failed and somebody that started something and in quotes succeeded is just the amount of dedication they gave. I know I said the last few, but these are honestly the last three. When do you have a millisecond of downtime? Or sorry, when you have a millisecond of downtime, what is your favorite activity to do outside of work? I'm a huge fan of like games. So it could be just in general, like beanbag toss. It could be pickleball. That God knows that's what I'm into right now. But it also could be like when I was on cruise ships, we would have to pass the time before shows would start, and we would play smartest person in the room or smartest person in the world. And you'd stand around in a circle, come up with a topic, and then you would cross paths with somebody across the circle from you. You'd look them in the eyes and say one thing about the topic, and then they would have to come on the spot with a new thing about that topic and change spots with you. Then they would look at somebody, say something about the topic, and on quick the other person would have to say something about the topic, switch paths, and it just had to keep on going until somebody fumbled on their words or couldn't come up with something. That one I loved. I also love backgammon. I've been learning chess, thank you Devin, things like that. And I also think that that is the most sort of easy way to connect back with the present, with your humanness. No technology, no crazy drastic I guess, props or things needed to propel the activity, just your brain, some simple, maybe like balls or paddles, whatever it is. And if it's a shared game, then somebody else, and you get to communicate and you get to have fun. I think it's such a social, I think it's so important for the social health, but also for the brain health. Yeah, and physical health. I love it so much. Looking back at your 25 years throughout life, what are 3 days that you wish you could relive? Doesn't have to be about work or dance, just life. Oh my goodness. 3 days. I took a trip with Devin to Hawaii, and we rough and toughed it. um, Camped on beaches, slept in campers, did not do the resort thing. In fact, probably budget a day was like $20, which was more than enough. Ate coconuts that he gathered for me at the end of trails, jumped into waterfalls. I mean, it was just the most beautiful time spent together and reconnection with nature. In fact, me even saying this right now reminds me that I should reconnect with nature in that way again soon. So, yeah, 3 days back to back to back, Hawaii, or more specifically, Kauai. Um, Definitely. Um, okay, ridiculous last question. Devin, thank you for submitting and committing yourself and showing that you show up for your girlfriend. You're 140 yards out on par four uphill, wind to your back, front pin. What club are you choosing? You know, I'm actually thinking about this. The hybrid. Am I wrong? I choose the hybrid, okay? I could be wrong. I could be. Oh, God. Oh my God. Okay, that wraps all of the questions. 45 minutes? Are you joking me? 45 minutes? Can't give you them back. Can't give you those minutes back. Um, Thank you for that. That was such a trip down memory lane, and I hope it wasn't too deep. Also just very much digressed on a lot of those questions and didn't even answer probably any of them. But I appreciate the interaction, the engagement, and just your pure curiosity for what's going on in my mind and life. I'm absolutely obsessed with interviewing and conversing with others, no matter where they are in their life, no matter what they do. I just love it. Blessing and a curse, but I do. I eat it up, and so thank you for flipping it onto me. That was a good self-reflective journey as well. If you have time today, open up a book, write down a few things. I can't recommend journaling, can't recommend a little breath work. It doesn't have to be long, team. Also, sidebar, team, where's that coming from? Like, there's absolutely no team. It's me, myself, and I. So I apologize because I think that's just going to keep on coming up is team. The leave average for Joe team, dare I say it. I hope you enjoyed it. Same time next week. I do hope that the guest and I are able to reconnect and re-record. That was a nightmare, but hey, putting out fires. Chief fire putter outer over here. Um, yeah, that was enjoyable. Enjoyable. Hey guys, keep leaving average for Joe. You can find me at www.briggsandco.ca or Instagram Briggs_and_co. Send me an email, send me a message. Love hearing from you. I love doing this, and I hope you enjoy listening. I hope it does bring you some valuable insights and maybe just a little entertainment to lighten up your day. Stay kind to yourself, stay kind to others, and keep dreaming. If your dreams and goals don't scare you, they're not big enough. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Leaving average for Joe. We're out of here.